Hi everyone, I'm Emily Longeretta.
And I'm Michael Schneider, and welcome to Variety's Awards Circuit, where we're looking at some of the key television categories at this year's SAG Awards on February 26th. And this time out, Emily, we are looking at the Drama Ensemble category.
So many
A lot
good
of
ones.
favorites, and I don't think any repeats from last year.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, last year's Succession won, so could be anyone this year.
I know, there's so many good shows in the running this year. We have to start out with The White Lotus.
Whenever I stay at a White Lotus, I always have a memorable time, always.
This year, of course, it's up for the amazing cast of season 2, which is Jennifer Coolidge, Aubrey Plaza, Megan Fahey, Theo James. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge, who invite to every award show, please. We saw her at the Golden Globes, and she gave the speech of the night. I want her everywhere, even on at the Oscars.
Yeah, just everywhere.
She wasn't in a film, but still put her there as well. But yeah, White Lotus.
Completely.
Phenomenon.
And F. Murray Abraham was also nominated at the Globes, and he was owning the red carpet. I just feel like he's another one I want at every show.
Yeah. And speaking of people I want at every show, Better Call Saul, this is the final season, the last chance for this show to finally get its due. Because the Emmys have not, shame on the Emmys, shame on the TV Academy.
Truly.
But at least there's an opportunity for SAG to right that wrong.
Yeah.
And they have nominations for Bob Odenkirk. And then a nice surprise with Jonathan Banks, also nominated. A tour de force season, an amazing cast. And I wouldn't be mad to see Saul get the Drama Ensemble.
It would be so nice. And honestly, to see Ray up on stage giving a speech,
Yeah.
the dream.
So at least Ray would get an award, even though she wasn't nominated individually. But we need to give Ray Seahorn all the awards. We haven't, and that is a national travesty.
It really
I'm just gonna
is.
say it.
It really is. Well, speaking of all the awards, one of the SAG favorites is The Crown, which is back again this year for Ensemble. And of course, this season is a crazy good cast. Dominic West, Imelda Staunton, Jonathan Pryce. I mean, Elizabeth Debicki, who she earned the solo nomination as well. I was pretty surprised the others, a lot of them did not. But
Yeah. I don't know if there was as much noise this season over The Crown, which is interesting since it comes after Queen Elizabeth's death. And if anything, there was going to be more attention. But I think maybe it's just the volume of so much content.
absolutely. And it's interesting also, Imelda Staunton is the first one to play Queen Elizabeth and not be nominated for the solo nom. So I'm wondering if SAG will maybe recognize the group as a whole.
Which, it's a big ensemble, and SAG voters love their big ensembles.
Absolutely.
So, well, we've got that, and then we've got sort of the critical darling of the year in Apple TV Plus's Severance, a show that I think was bubbling under for a while, but sort of really became a grassroots phenomenon, and that's partly because of that cast. Adam Scott, Patricia Arquette, John Turturro, Christopher Walken, Tremel Tillman, Britt Lower. This is a fun cast. Everyone is really excited to see where they go with season 2, but there were so many twists and turns in season 1, and it's kind of an actors kind of show.
Even the director, Ben Stiller, this is just filled with actors and a lot of talent. To our next one, Ozark is once again back, and this was the final season. So I would have to assume that Jason Bateman, Laura Linney, and Julia Garner, who all also got solo nominations, I would have to assume they get some sort of recognition.
Yeah, it's interesting that of all the dramas we're talking about, that got the most individual nominations.
Yeah.
This is a show that, Ozark, even in its final season, getting so much attention for that cast. I mean, Julia Garner, I've said it before, is awards catnip. She seems to get nominated for everything, and she wins most of those things too.
She really does.
And if not for Ozark, then for Inventing Anna.
Yep.
I mean, she's all over the place. Don't vote against Ozark.
No.
Yeah, it still has power even in its final season.
Definitely. I think it's really, really nice to see a show go out on top, and storyline it definitely did, so hopefully in awards world it will as well.
Yeah, well, those are the nominees, so why don't we decide now our picks for who might win and who we'd like to see win. So do you have a pick?
I think mine is the same for both of them,
Okay.
who might win and who I would really like to see, and it goes to The White Lotus. I absolutely loved the season 2 cast. I know that everyone loved the first season cast and they were incredible, but that next group really brought something fresh and new.
Yeah, it's hard to top your first season, especially
really
the
is.
first season of The White Lotus was a phenomenon. It was a show that really stood out, especially for Jennifer Coolidge, so it was smart that they brought her back in the second season. And without giving anything away, they really did some interesting things with her character. We'll just leave leave it at that. But this is a show that really lives and dies on its ensemble, and this ensemble again this season, seeing how everything interconnected was really fun to see. Mike White, the creator of The White Lotus, really, he knows his game. He knows how to pull this off.
Wrote and directed every episode. I mean, he's really is like the king of The White Lotus, so I think it'd be really awesome to see him take that home.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well,
no surprise here, I guess.
You know, I've been a Better Call Saul homer from the beginning, and time is running out. This is sort of our last opportunity to really give it the love that it deserves. It's a show that really sort of redefined that whole sort of cast and that genre. You know, Breaking Bad was one of the great shows of the 2000s, and there was no way to top it, right? Well, somehow they found a way with Better Call Saul, a show that from start to finish really was just an amazing story. It was different from Breaking Bad, but it redefined the character that Bob Odenkirk played. He became a superstar in terms of a drama actor. Better Call Saul, I think, really should get that recognition, and I really hope it does before it's all over.
Absolutely. I mean, I think something that you just touched on was that Breaking Bad was one of the best shows of all time. I think that's something that, you know, there's no arguing there. It's really, really hard to follow up a show like that. And Better Call Saul not only did that successfully, it did it completely differently and made a whole new genre out of it. A whole new show. It went complete different direction and still not only brought in the audience, but created a whole new audience. I really hope that there is that.
That said, I think it's going to be either White Lotus or Severance. As much as I love my Better Call Saul, I feel like you know, I'm leaning right now towards Severance, but White Lotus ended on such a big note and also was more recent, so it's on top of people's minds a little bit more. So I think it could go either way.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it right there, though. That's it for now. Please join us again for another edition of Awards Circuit.
Thanks for watching.